How's everybody? All right, so before the welcome team comes down for the offering, I want to take a couple minutes and just update you on where the church sits financially, how we ended up 23, and kind of how things look for 24. As many of you probably remember, we entered 23 with an operating budget deficit of $32,000. Through new pledges that came in during the year, a few one-time gifts and expense savings, we reduced the deficit by about half to around $17,000. And luckily, fortunately, we had enough COVID relief money set aside to cover the gap. So we ended the year basically break even, which is good. As you can see on the screen up here, if your vision's much better than mine, a lot of good happened in 23, and the funds that you contributed to the church were put to great use to allow BUMC to provide for our congregation, our community, and beyond. So for that, we say thank you. For 24, for the fifth year in a row, we're starting with a budget deficit again. This year, budgeted expenses exceed revenues by $62,000. 2024 expenses are budgeted to grow about 5% over last year, but giving is 2% lower than last year. Unlike the past few years, we don't have any left over COVID relief funds either to help out at the end of the year. Albert Einstein once said that in the middle of difficulty lies opportunity, and this situation's no different. It is an opportunity for all of you to get involved because it's going to take participation from everyone in the congregation to help us solve our budget issue here. This is an opportunity for you to join a ministry team. You may have heard about them, maybe the stewardship team or the budgeting team perhaps, to help generate creative ideas, help identify alternative sources of income, or just bring your energy and enthusiasm to put us in a position to end 2024 with a balanced budget. If numbers aren't your thing, there's several other ministry teams looking for help as well. Each piece of this pie up here, each of these categories, which you can't read, but worship ministries, children and youth ministries, adult ministries, congregational care, and mission and service. There are teams that address each of those things, multiple teams. You can find a full list of teams and sign up on BUMC links. You can fill out the blue piece of paper in your bulletin and hand it in either after service or in the offering. Or you can just call the office and say, hey, I'm interested in helping out. I ask you to think about joining a ministry team, discuss it with your family, pray about it. God has blessed each and every one of us with gifts that are useful to the church. And the church and its staff needs all of you, your financial gifts, along with your time and talents to fulfill our mission of creating safe spaces to grow with God and one another. Family of faith, we thank you. We believe God has placed Brecksville United Methodist Church in the center of town to be a beacon of God's love, not only in Brecksville, but across the world. When we give to Brecksville UMC, we boldly work together to create spaces where people can ask questions and grow in their understanding of God's unconditional love. Now I invite the welcome team to come forward as we continue our worship through our giving of tithes, offerings, and also our prayer cards.